Yes, good evening to all, and good afternoon to all the people who are watching this live from Bosnia. It's been some time that I have been conducting the show, Talk Studio, where I feel blessed to have been graced by the presence of some phenomenal artists around the globe. Today, I have been utterly lucky and blessed to have got the opportunity to talk with an artist who comes from a very different and unique walk of life in music. She has been the voice behind the two tracks which inspired an entire Indian generation. Aur Wo from Rockstar and Tu Koi Aur Hai from Tamasha, both composed by Mr. A.R. Rahman. But her music doesn't stop here. She has been a producer, a music director, and also the founder of the phenomenal Institute of Music, Theatre, and Multimedia. Her contribution to music and musical theatre has been unique and quite enchanting, and recently, her 10 years of effort in the world of music has paid off. She has been recently awarded with the Honorary Award Associate of Royal Academy of Music in London. And on that note, I have got a chance to have a conversation with her. I would like to call the amazing Alma Ferovic Fazlik live with us from Sarajevo, Bosnia. Can you please come online with us, Alma?
Hello.
Hello,
Hi.
Alma.
What should I say?
Can you hear
Namaskar.
me? Hi.
Yes, I can hear you very well. Hello to
Perfect. It's
all the.
Namaste in Hindi.
Okay, namaste.
Thank you. And Namaskar is in my native language, Marathi. So Namaskar is
Okay,
perfect. And thank you so
namaskar.
much for that greeting. It really means a lot that you've made it to my show, and you have no idea how excited I am to do this. And thank you so much once again. So, like I told you, there are a few set of questions which I have drawn out. This is going to be kind of an informal, but also some formal conversation with you regarding your music, and it completely comes from the curiosity which I have for the artists which I invite on my show. So, should we start?
Sure. Thank you so much for inviting me. And I'm sending loads of love to my beloved India. It's my third home. Bosnia is the first one, and London is the second one, and India definitely is my third home. And I've spent a lot of time there. And I absolutely love you people. And I have a lot of friends there that I want to say hello to. Hopefully, some of them will watch the show.
Yes, there are a few people who have started coming on our live stream. So let's start with our show. So my first question, we always start our show with that one question we all as musicians and non-musicians want to know about the artist that I have invited. The question is, why music? What provoked you to consider music as the primary medium of your expression? How did your journey start into this amazing form of art?
Well, I was born into a musical family. And my mother was a musician, and so is my older brother. Only my father is economist, which is quite well because we all sort of wander around as artists and have a lot of plans, but he's the only one who was sort of putting us back on the ground. So being born into a musical family, I was raised, surrounded with music, surrounded with singing. I started playing piano at the early age, and then I enrolled into music schools, primary and then secondary and then academy of music. So my journey was basically music and all about music. So there was no other way that I was going to be doing anything else apart from music.
Wow, wow. So where were you born? Can you tell us the roots? Like, where were you born, and how were you? Like, you said you spent a lot of time in India, and so can you tell us the journey, like, right from the start of it?
So yes, I was born in Sarajevo, and Sarajevo is the capital of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Bosnia has around 3 million people. It changes a little bit, and it changed a lot during the war siege that we've been through from 92 to 94. So I was to 95, sorry. So I was in the war, survived it. And again, singing and music helped me a lot through it. And I'm very grateful that I was born into a music family and that I was able to actually sing all the time, even when the time was hard. So being born in Bosnia basically meant for me that from the early age I was going to learn about our musical heritage. We have something very special here, which is called Sevdalinka, a Bosnian love song, traditional song, and we all sing a lot of Sevdalinka. Maybe during the show, maybe I'll do a little verse of one of our Bosnian Sevdalinka songs. So that is also something that is very deeply in my heart. And around the world, whenever I was traveling and doing shows, even in concerts, I was always singing something out of this musical heritage that we got out of a repertoire of the Sevdalinka. So basically, being born into this country, which is in the center Eastern Europe, we are in the heart of Europe. So a lot of people say Eastern Europe, but basically it's Southeast. We're really in the heart. I was surrounded with different cultures. So I wanted to go and explore world music and explore different genres, to do fusions. And in the end, basically, that is exactly what happened. So after finishing the Academy of Music here, which was basically to do with theory of music, and I was a professor of music, somebody who was capable of teaching other children, yeah. So I wanted to go into a theater, and musical theater was basically what I wanted to do. So that brought me into the West, in the UK, and that's where everything has changed. And bizarrely, in the UK, whilst I was doing musical theater, studying musical theater, I fell in love with Indian music. Wow. So it's a mix of things that I've gone through, and I still have it deeply, deeply in my heart. And whenever I hear anything, from India, I just smile a lot, and my emotions wake up immediately.
Wow, wow. And when you said you fell in love with the Indian music, the best part of it was when we heard your track. When I personally heard your track, I was moved, I was shattered, and it was something that I was listening to the first time. And Orho has been so special, and not just musically to me. It has related me on all the personal levels. And thank you so much for singing that track. I wanted to thank you, and what better platform to thank you for such an amazing track and such an amazing delivery. And so moving on to the next question, what was the initial scenario regarding the aspect of music and musical exposure in Sarajevo? What was the catalyst behind the idea of forming IMTM, that is your Institute of Music, Theatre and Multimedia? Can you tell us more about it? Can you tell us more about IMTM?
Among other things, when I got back to Sarajevo after almost 7 years that I've spent in London working professionally and studying musical theatre there as well, I had to form an institution or educational platform that I would actually transfer through all the knowledge in the field of musical theatre here in Bosnia, because we did not have musical theatre. So that was my main desire, to actually bring something from the UK here and establish it. And in that way, for everyone else to have the platform where they can study and then eventually do musicals and be performers in musical theatre. So it all happened very naturally. After coming back, I started working for the Academy of Music here, the institution where I've actually graduated from back in 1999. Yeah. So it was a long time ago. And I was invited to teach musical theatre there. And so from every year, we had at least 20, 30 students joining in, and we formed like a little ensemble that was performing musical theatre around Sarajevo in different venues. And then I realized that it's actually growing so fast that I had to do something, that I had to actually make it all happen even bigger. And by forming an institution, which I've done, and it's today called Institute for Music Theatre and Multimedia, and we're now doing a lot of other things and promoting other things and producing shows, which is the main thing to do.
Well, so how was the response initially to this concept? I am quite sure musical theatre wasn't new, but new as a concept to your city or to your country. But how was the initial response to the institute that you created? And can you tell us a few experiences that you had while you were teaching the students there? Can you tell us?
Yes. Well, everybody reacted as I thought, with huge interest, first of all. And I think everyone loves musical theater now as much as I do. And it was such a privilege to teach, to young people that are so talented at the Academy of Music. And it's such a privilege today to see them all performing equally in theaters and around, So it makes me happy that the idea has actually flourished so much, and that today we have musical theater here in Bosnia in full. We've produced a lot of shows. So the feedback that I was getting from the day one was beautiful. And that was my inspiration to move forward, because musical theater is a very expensive, a theater form.
Exactly.
And in a very small country as we are, it's not easy to actually produce them. So I was very, very fortunate that, on this path, people have joined very quickly, and we've all kind of made it together. And so, as much as I was the first person to start it, at the same time, I wouldn't be able to do it myself. So, I really owe it to the groups of people that have been through the musical theater ever since, and each and every individual, who came on and joined around this beautiful idea to make it all happen. So it makes me very happy, actually, that it all came true just the way I wanted it.
Wow. We as Indians have a completely different frame of mind when you say the word musical theater. I personally come from the lands of Maharashtra, Mumbai, where musical theater, Natya Sangeet, as we called it, we call it Natya Sangeet, it scales back into the 18th century. We have this natural intrigue and curiosity into the kind of musical theater happens back there in your part of the continent. So, can you tell us more about the musical theater which you have experienced when you were growing up?
Oh, well, basically, we have a big national theater here in Sarajevo, and that was the first place that I visited. And, we have three segments, which is opera and ballet and drama. But as a musical theater, we only had few shows occasionally, and I was too young to even remember that. So speaking about musical theater in Bosnia, I can only say that the things have actually started in the right way after, I came back here. And this is not, to get me on the surface in any sense, but it's just, I feel very, very happy that I was able to bring it back in a way, because there isn't, the case is not that you have a lot of people going to study musical theater, not even in the region, because we do not have musical theater education in the region. We only have it, further, which is basically UK or the countries like America, so we did not have musical theater facility at all. So before the war, only opera department was actually in charge for operas and couple of operettas, and I think one or two musicals. So I can't quite remember that time, because as I said, I was too young. So I remember things as they started it from 2013, when we had the first breakthrough with musical Grease in National Theatre, which was the one I produced.
Yeah. So the musical theater that you are talking about is reaching our country now. We have been lucky to, watch musicals, and now there are a few directors from our country who are trying to create our stories on that kind of on that kind of grandeur and everything. But the young generation like me, we are pretty intrigued and curious about the theater. So we go on YouTube and watch the theater, and there are a few organizations here who are trying to get this theater to India and try to do something with the concept of it. So thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on musical theater. Let's come to the main part of this interview, which I wanted to ask you. How did you meet Mr. A.R. Rahman? Any specific memories of your recordings with him? I want to know entire process behind the music of Aur Ho and Tu Koi Aur, if you can. Please tell us.
It certainly is the biggest highlight of my life, as I think in anyone's life. Whoever came across Sir A.R. Rahman is someone who I feel is really, really fortunate, not just because he's the most amazing musician and composer, but he's the most amazing person. He's a great friend. He's a great human being. And it's just, he thinks about everything. And that is the biggest blessing, definitely biggest blessing of my life. So how I met Sir Rahman, I was in college in London, and as you said, I was studying musical theatre. And at the very end of semester, we had agent showcase, and so I performed a song from musical The Lion King. And there was somebody out there in the audience called Sylvia Addison, who was, again, the most extraordinary woman in the world of musical theatre in London. And she, for some reason, suggested me to audition for an upcoming musical, The Lord of the Rings, in London, because she thought there was something in my voice that would suit the show. And at the time, I didn't know that I was going to meet A.R. Rahman. So just going back a little bit earlier before that, I was watching Bombay Dreams, the musical, which absolutely stole my heart in London. Yeah. And I was sitting in an auditorium, orchestra stall, with my mother. And she said to me, can you imagine, one day if you were to meet this person, if you were to meet the composer? And I said, that is just not possible. Why would you ever think that I'm going to meet someone like that? That's incredible, because I was a student at the time. And she said, well, you never know. Only 2 months later, this showcase happened. And now I was in the studio auditioning for Sir Rahman, and I was singing a Bulgarian song, because he wanted to hear different sounds, he wanted to hear my musical background, our heritage, but also something else, because this was like the beginning of the development of the musical score for the Lord of the Rings musical. So I ended up singing different things for him, and he just turned around and said, okay, I think that's enough. Let's create music. So after that, a couple of years down the line, we've been doing things and recording demos and changing music. And it was such an inspirational process. I still reflect on it with such huge, happiness. And I still live on it, I really do. Wow. And out of one of the sessions, actually, we created like a little musical motive of from the film Bose, The Forgotten Hero. So that was the first thing that we've done that I've actually contributed to the Bollywood film industry. And so that was brilliant to actually just come out of the very, very light singing and kind of exploring, and it was a huge inspiration. So, as I said, a couple of years down the line, and I got into the show to do it in London. But meanwhile, he was doing a tour in 2005, if I remember right, which was around the globe. So that's how I got into India as well, and a couple of times, not just once, which was a blessing again. And we flew around the world. We had concerts, on all the continents, I think, and it was incredible experience. To be on tour with him was such a learning process, and was such a lift, in my career in terms of concerts, in terms of shows, and it was preparing me as well for what's coming. And that was the Lord of the Rings musical that you would, end up doing 8 shows a week, which is very difficult. But not just that, on tour, I've met wonderful people such as Hariharan, Shankar Mahadevan, Alka Yagnik, and huge stars, and I got to be such friends with them. And also someone I cannot forget to mention, that is percussionist Anandan Shivamani, who's a close friend. And, those people have really marked my life a lot. And today, I feel so blessed to be just a phone call away, So it was incredible to be able to do that.